Chefs of Reddit, what is that one dish on the menu you absolutely hate making? Soufflés. We make the crème pâté in advance, but when it's ordered the process is, warm crème pâté over a double boiler. While that is warming, you need to hand whip a fresh meringue. Once the crème pâté is warm, you have about 3 minutes to fold in the whites. Fill your molds to make sure you don't touch the edges as it makes them rise crooked. Into the oven for 3 minutes, open oven and rotate for 2 minutes. In those 5 minutes you have to plate the rest of the table's desserts, which all have 8 to 10 components. Soufflé comes out to a waiting waiter, has to go to the table immediately or deflates. While it's not the most difficult thing in the world, when you're busy and have 4 to 6 on order and each one needs to pass a 3-finger test height above rim of mold or it gets sent back and you need to restart, it can get quite hard and demoralizing when they don't work. And then you send out 4 at once and someone at the table gets up to go to the bathroom or have a cigarette and the tray comes back and you start again and cry inside. Former chef, it's some of the simplest dishes that are the most annoying. I always hated working breakfast rushes. People are very particular about eggs, and it is very easy to accidentally break a yolk. Outside of that, while pastry and desserts were some of my favorite things to make, working with phyllo dough is a major test of patience. Also, cleaning muscles. When I was in middle and high school, I was a weekend prep cook at a high-end hotel that did a huge Sunday brunch, especially for special occasions. They would add more seating capacity in the banquet space for occasions such as Mother's Day or Christmas Day. Every Saturday before, myself and 2 others would prep up to 12 5-gallon buckets of eggs for scrambled eggs, French toast, Denvers and omelets. The old-school executive chef at the time insisted the eggs be farm fresh and cracked by hand. I remember how gratifying it was to finish a bucket, and how depressing it was when you cracked the first egg into an empty 5-gallon pail. Each pail took 90 minutes to fill and required about 35 dozen large eggs. We'd do one-handed cracks with both hands at once. We used to race each other, the limiting factor being how long you could go before your hands would cramp up due to the cold eggs. We would then scramble them with a power whisk. Did that every Saturday for over 4 years, then we got a new exec chef. He came in to check on things before his first brunch and found us 3 guys happily cracking away and kiboshed that immediately. I guess you could buy gallon-sized ready-made scrambled egg mix for only slightly more the cost of normal eggs, way less when you factor in the labor to crack them. I would conservatively estimate that during my 4 years prepping for brunches, based on 20 gallons a week, I hand-cracked 140 dozen eggs/WK. 560 dozen eggs/mo for 48 months. 26,880 dozen eggs equals 322,560 eggs. Somewhere there is a chicken post office with my picture on a most wanted poster. Our German apple pancake. First you sauté Granny Smiths in clarified butter. Then add 3 ladles of our German batter into sauté pan. Throw in oven for 15 minutes. Remove from oven and add clarified butter and cinnamon sugar. Flip delicate pancake with spatula and a dash of learning curve. Return to oven and cook 5 more minutes. Flip pancake onto plate and ensure it makes it to the table in less than a minute as it deflates rapidly. Bonus points for when it's ordered 10 minutes before we close. Edit: those who are apologizing for ordering it, don't, it's our job. Kitchen staff are gluttons for punishment. Holy crap, this sounds good. I'm so sorry. A dash of learning curve. I sense there's a deeper story connected to this one, or at least an entertaining lesson learned. Slightly different take, but I was a chef at a nursing home and anything pureed for people who are on that dietary restriction was gross to me. I literally had to take whatever meal I made, throw in a blender and put it in a bowl. I always felt so bad. The nursing home I worked at used molds to shape the goo into what the original food looked like. It was pretty cool. Aw, that's really sweet. Tries to give some dignity to the person eating it. Also, takes the guesswork out of, is that orange pile carrots or yams? When and where? Here in Australia the pureed meals are all separated. So broccoli, carrot, potato, risole all in little mounds. Customizing the soups. I used to work at a Michelin star restaurant. We already have the soups prepared before you walk in. I can't just take out the shrimp taste of a paella soup that I prepped before you walked in here. WTF, do people not realize that it takes hours to make the stuff, even something as light as consommé? Like every time I look into making chicken soup for someone sick, almost every recipe is like, you need to do this 8 hours before dinner. That's why chicken soup makes you feel better. By the time it's ready, you're no longer sick. The best ingredient is time. I used to work at a grocery store, and I was the person who made all those pre-cut fruit boxes. I didn't particularly mind any of them all that much except clementines. We had to peel clementines and put them in a box. First, it was a huge waste because no one ever bought them. Why would you pay $5 for 6 peeled clementines when you could buy a whole bag unpeeled for the same price, except for old people who couldn't peel the fruit themselves, and secondly because the acid would eat through our gloves and then destroy our nails and leave orange smell on your fingers for days. The only other thing I hated making was 5 mix. We have a mixture called 6 mix, which is just 6 different kinds of fruit together, but this one guy would come in and ask for 6 mix without the cantaloupe in it. We actually started calling him 5 mix. When he walked in, someone from a different department would ring us and let us know 5 mix was there and to start making some 5 mix. I hated it because when he asked, we'd have to go get a whole watermelon, a whole honeydew, and 3 other fruits and cut them all up just so he could have like 5 cut up pieces of each instead of just eating around the cantaloupe. And he always showed up right as our department was starting to close down for the night too. So we had to then rewatch all our surfaces after 5 mix came in. As someone with a severe cantaloupe allergy, it would never occur to me to ask an employee to make me a special mix. I would just buy the fruit and cut it up myself, or just deal with not buying it. Sorry you had to put up with that weirdo. I used to work at McDonald's. Years ago we had this promotional burger we called the lean beef burger. It was aimed at people who wanted to be more healthy, haha. Normally the meat patties are cooked on the grill, but this one was nuked in the microwave. When it was heated, it looked gray, and it smelled so putrid no one wanted to work near the microwave, so they wouldn't have to smell it. When the McRib first dropped, the sauce was so fragrant it would give you headaches. It was like getting smacked in the face with a barbecue Yankee candle. Calamari. If you worked in a restaurant cleaning them and prepping them to cook, you would know. They come with all kinds of crap in them, and they smell terrible when spoiled raw. Never again. I made calamari from scratch with a boyfriend when I was 19. After gutting them at set, I have never done it again. I don't even eat it. F calamari. When someone is just big enough to be able to get away ordering off the menu. I worked at a restaurant that had a few local celebrities and business owners that would order off menu. It always felt like it was for show. A power move designed to let others know how important they thought they were. I heard that they stopped letting them order off menu with the new manager. In a busy steakhouse restaurant on a Friday night, they would order things like an omelet. It wasn't impossible to do, but rather inconvenient. That could only be in butthole power move. No one has ever thought, I really want an omelet. I know. I'll go to that steakhouse that doesn't serve omelets. As a waiter, I hated these people the worst. From a waiter's perspective, ordering off the menu created a consistency problem. One person's idea of how that bowl of plain buttered pasta was different from the next, and invariably the customers would complain. Then the sous chef would come in and ask, well, why did you sell it to them in the first effing place? It's not on the effing menu. I watched that scenario repeat hundreds of times. Can I get the redfish dish, but instead of redfish can I get catfish? It says here that it's lightly battered and pan sautéed. Can I get it deep fried instead? Instead of lemon butter sauce, can I get that cream sauce you serve on your chicken dish? They did it for me last week. Took me a second to realize you meant big as in high profile and not literally big. Those 6 feet 5 inches mother effers. Baker here. Cinnamon buns are the majority of our business, but so effing time intensive, and while the finished product comes out so good, they take 3 days to make between dough, proofing, and baking. By the time the customer gets them warm, I swear they owe me much more than $5 a bun, laughing out loud. Exhausting. Usually depends on how the kitchen is run. If your menu is designed for your kitchen, it's no problem. If it's designed for twice the space, cooking surfaces and cooks, It's going to run like crap and there's going to be multiple items that halt production. Worked in a sandwich shop for a bot in college. Not fine dining by any stretch of the imagination, but a couple steps above Subway. Every time someone ordered a PB&J off the kids' menu, we had to clear off both lines, change our gloves, wipe down every surface the peanut butter got close to, and wash the knife we used to cut it. I get it. But having to treat peanut butter like nuclear waste in the middle of a lunch rush was never fun. Plus, the peanut butter was too thick for the bread we used for the PB&J, so the bread ended up tearing half the time. The customer I hated most. Dude was deathly allergic to sesame seeds. Motherfucker came in every morning at 8:30 a.m., after we had made about 20 everything and sesame seed bagels, and would order a plain bagel with cream cheese. I had to wash the knives in scalding water, hoping no seamy oil was on it. Wipe down the counter. Wash the cutting board. Open a new cream cheese if I had it, or scoop out a whole layer of cream cheese to ensure no sesame seeds were in it. Worst part? We only had panini presses. So I had to wipe down a scalding hot press. This butthole still wanted a bagel every morning. I warned him that if anybody else ever made him his bagel, that they wouldn't take as much precautions as me. He ended up in an ambulance, and still came in almost every morning for his bagel. Live by the bagel. Die by the bagel. I hate people who are like, I'm the customer so you have to do whatever I say. I work at a sandwich shop. We also do takeaway and delivery for companies who have meetings. We have a big kitchen and are technically fast food. Everything we make is done in max 1 minute. We make our own dough/bread, but also our own gluten-free bread. Whenever I train someone, I teach them to always ask a customer if they are familiar with our gluten-free bread. Because we make it ourselves, it is in the same oven as the other bread. We clean everything before making the girlfriend. We make it once in a while and freeze it, but we cannot guarantee that it won't give traces of gluten. Once there was this lady who I took her order from. Explained everything with the girlfriend and that not everything on the menu was girlfriend. Some spices contain traces of gluten in sauces, falafel contains gluten. You name it. But she kept on insisting to order one specific sandwich who had loads of gluten. At first she wanted a roast beef teriyaki sandwich, what contains soja sauce, what is full with gluten. Then she wanted falafel, same story. She was so angry at me for not taking her order. She didn't even want to read the allergy list of our menu. I think it took 20 minutes of arguing that she finally understood that the thing she wanted wasn't gluten-free. Turns out she wasn't allergic to IT, but she wanted in on the hype. Something she didn't mention when I explained that we couldn't guarantee that it was 100% girlfriend. I hate those people the most. Sorry for the rant. On every menu lies an item that no one ever orders, so you never really prepare for it. Yet, without warning or explanation, this butthole item gets ordered right in the middle of dinner rush, completely effing up service. Also, those dishes that have 15 steps and 20 ingredients and that mise en place is kept 2 stations down. Note to self, if I ever own a restaurant, let the staff vote an item off the menu regularly. Congratulations, now your restaurant only sells fries and Caesar salads. Sautéing shrimp pretty much blows. They release a lot of water which explodes when it hits the hot oil. So you get a lot of burns. Sometimes oil hits you in the face. It sucks. But whatever. You cook the shrimp and get on with it. You cook the shrimp and get on with it is actually a pretty inspirational phrase. Making crepes, and boning quail for pâté, things young chefs do in training, mind-numbing. Yeah, about those crepes, so many of you mention the finished product, filled, etc., or using a crepe maker. I'm talking about making them in a pan, in large amounts, like a big catered event where you have hours pouring and flipping, beyond boring. Hollandaise. As much as I love eating it, it is such a hassle making it. Like 20 minutes whisking. Not necessarily a dish, but for people who lie about allergens. Had one woman who was allergic to onions so didn't want any onion gravy, went out to speak to her as it was a pretty unique allergy to have. Told her that the nut roast she ordered also contained onions. Oh, it's fine, I just don't really like onions, Can I have the gravy without onions in? So not only completely lying about an allergy, but also wasting my time during a busy service. Charcuterie boards. Stuff falling off all over the place. Not a chef but a butcher, and I can't even begin to express how much I loathe crap like ham salad and chicken salad. I love when new customers come in for the first time, but my heart always sinks when they say I heard this place has great ham salad. Sorry, but if you like ham salad it's all going to be great, because what you actually like is an obscene amount of mayonnaise and sweet relish. David Cameron, get out of here. I hand make pierogi for my food truck, and they are a pain in the butt. Making 1 or 2 batches is annoying, but making enough for a commercial operation completely sucks. The dough I use doesn't have water in it, just egg and sour cream, so the gluten doesn't form into very strong bonds. That means that I can't use a pasta roller to make sheets of dough to cut into dumpling skins. I have to hand roll everything with a rolling pin, and my work surface is big enough to roll out an entire batch. Last week, after making pierogi for a couple hours, I raised the price in our point of sale system by another $1 because F pierogi. Worked at a kitchen after high school. Some guy orders effing lobster on Valentine's Day, and we were this low mid-range fish and chips chain where high school kids hung out, and the most fancy thing most people ordered was probably swordfish collar. We didn't even know we had lobster in the menu. I remember the head chef swearing and actually taking out the restaurant's recipe book to see what was needed. We actually didn't have some of the ingredients, and we had to send one of the cooks out to take a cab to the next outlet a few streets down to pick up the stuff. The rest of us dug through the freezer and actually found lobster that we didn't know we had. Cooking it was pretty much referencing the recipe book all the way. On hindsight, it was hilarious. Why would you order lobster at a restaurant like this? The head chef was pissed as hell the rest of the day. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.